बिजूरी रिवाइज किया बेटा?
I haven't been able to revise, but I'm going to revise this weekend because I'm like now a little free.
All right. Anybody who had any big takeaways from last class? Yeah? Any thoughts from last class? Let's start with Hirakshi. I think we're going to put her on the spotlight for the next week.
Namaste, Didi.
Namaste, Gudiya.
Last time for me, the major takeaway was we have to go through the mind to win over the mind, and alumna helps through it. So have a strong alumna that you can go to, kuch acha bhi ho, kuch bura bhi ho, so that you can sail through it. So yes, that was something which lingered on my head.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Pulkit?
Namaste, Geeta. It's a really short takeaway, but like main takeaway from past 3 classes, just dream big. Just like I know desires are not good, but even if you're desiring, then don't desire for a small
Mediocre.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no mediocre, like no
What's
mediocrity.
the point being sad about not being able to have your chart? Right? You have to be
What, come
sad.
again?
अगर
Yeah.
अगर चाट नहीं मिली या पिज्जा नहीं मिला या टी शर्ट नहीं मिली तो उसके लिए सैड होने का क्या मतलब है? You have to be sad, make it a big thing that you're sad.
Yes. Yeah.
Not a small little.
Right.
What's the big deal?
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I think like social media is so like magical. We are talking about this dream big and all that stuff. And when I was seeing YouTube, I was seeing videos of the same thing. Then I even sent you a link. I was like, okay, Shah Rukh Khan was saying, okay, I'm gonna dream big like that. So yeah, that's one of my takeaways.
Manu?
They listen to you and they give you those videos. So it's not magical, it is marketing. It's scary. Yes, my take was the teacher appears when the student is ready. And teacher ready.
Right. Yeah, we discussed about that a hell of a lot, right? I didn't get a chance to go through the video, but yeah, we discussed about that. And there are many ways in which you are ready. There's not only one way. There are many ways in which you can be ready. So we talked about that also. Excellent. Manvi, since you can talk.
Same thing, Didi. One, that whenever we are looking for something, a teacher, we are ready for it, then we always get them. Somehow or the other, they're there. And second is you have to go above your small desires.
Yeah.
Think big.
Small desires are also good, but for as long as you are in your mind thinking this is small, let it go, is fine.
Yeah. So yeah, these two things stayed with me.
Excellent, excellent. Shalini?
Yes, Didi. So this whole thing about going through the mind to overcome it. So isme you gave a few things that we should do. One is we replace the desires. So and then we also, the other thing that you said was कि हमें पता नहीं कौन से desire से कैसी suffering आ रही है, तो हर desire को ultimately even to attain self-realization is a desire. So eventually we have to let go of that also. But we can begin by replacing our desires. So I could feel that I have gone through this journey, and then this whole thing about replacing the desire, and then about also so replacing the desire, say, of traveling with temple visits, and then not knowing what that temple visit is going to result in, what suffering is going to bring with it. So that whole thing, I could actually relate to it really well. And the other thing, of course, no mediocrity. Mediocrity doesn't take you anywhere. So if desire bhi rakhna hai, to bada rakhna hai. And aim for excellence. So it's also not just the desire, but it's also about how much we give in to attain it. So we have to be like, we have to excel. And then Pulkit's question, even I could relate that, he said, kaise Geeta class mein sab kuch sun ke, sara gyan wo sun ke bhi, when we go into the world, and it's so difficult to remain that somehow, and we start judging people, we start drawing parallels of, like and dislike. And so that was really important, how we have to use, like constantly remind ourselves and surrender everything so that we try and reach that somehow, dheere dheere. Of course, it will not happen in a day, and it is difficult. And then about how you said we should always study, always be students of literature, history, and philosophy, and have people around us who are passionate about them, so that we stay connected with that. And about the teachers also, jo aapne bola tha, wo that also I could relate to, because like for me, first I started with the puja and mantra chanting, and then how, and yoga also, but then how it led to more things. It led to philosophy for me. Philosophy was a big change when in COVID I started learning Rudri from you after a long time, a long gap. And then that Rudri led to me joining the Yogacharya class. Then that led me to join the Geeta class. So, and then it was just another journey. So, and then I had stopped doing yoga. How I went back to yoga again after doing these classes. So, this whole journey of how the teachers and the teachings present itself, whether you're in one form or the other, but these kind of practices are interlinked, and one thing leads to another. So,
Excellent. Excellent. Khushbu, Beta, any thought?
Namaste, Didi.
Namaste, Gudiya.
My thoughts are like, desires, in order to quell, desires are not good. Desire itself is the root cause of suffering. And in order to get rid of desires, either you fulfill it or you go away with it, get away with it. And sadhana definitely helps you. And this whole week I was reflecting on this takeaway only. And the second obviously was that, करना है तो कुछ बहुत बड़ा करो. Like get into IIM, get into Wharton, Pennsylvania.
Correct.
So I that thought was like really reverberating in my head, and I personally feel I am in that stage where I am really mediocre, and I am just trying to fulfill my desires. Sometimes I know that I don't need to fulfill this desire, but still I fulfill it. Why I do it despite knowing it. So this is a confusion. Can I call it the mind going through trying to fulfill the desire and then get away with it, or it is just vasana? Like despite knowing that this desire, fulfilling this desire is going to cause me harm only, like visible harm, but still I do it. So what is it called? Is it vasana, or is it the statement that you said that the body or the mind wants to go through it? Plus, I have a list of questions which I want to ask at the end of the class.
So today we'll have a two-part class. One is the Bhagavad Gita class, and the other one will be addressing questions. I think Khushbu, because she's not been with me very long and she's just jumped into yoga, has she understands what I'm teaching, but then how does it correspond back to my life is a big question, because it's not for a lot of you. You've been together with me for 3-4 years, you've done 1 or 2 classes, and you've also heard me, you've also met me like many times. That makes a lot of shifts possible. But she asks very good questions from a fresher point of view, right? Like absolutely fresh, never heard this, and from a fresher point. So there's no need to apologize for any questions. It does take away from the class. So today is a two segment class. One segment we will learn Bhagavad Gita, and we will talk about, I think I wanted to talk about Vairagyam today, and I hope I'll be able to communicate that today. And In the second segment, if you still have those questions after I've taught Vairagyam, then we will address those questions. If you don't remember those questions, I'll have to remind you through your, by going through your chat. So that will be a separate recording and I'll post it for everyone. I'll just make it public so everybody can benefit from those questions as well as from those answers. Sounds good? So,
yes, I don't want to be visible in those questions in the recording.
yes, again, those are vasanas. Why?
Oh my God.
इतना या तो ये वैनिटी है या ये फियर है. अगर ये ईगो है कि मैं इतनी स्टूपिड दिख रही हूँ कि मैं ये क्वेश्चन पूछ रही हूँ तो भी गलत है. और अगर ये डर है कि मैंने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा, मुझे आंसर मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, खराब क्वेश्चन तो नहीं पूछ लिया, तो भी गलत है. भगवान बोलते हैं ये सब बेकार है. तो इसलिए डरना नहीं है और ईगो भी रखना नहीं है. छोटे होने में कोई छोटा नहीं होता, बड़े ही होते हैं. The smaller you can get, the higher you will grow. Right?
Yes.
Maximum energy is emitted out of the smallest atom. Right? What gives us maximum energy? Smallest atom can give you the maximum, nuclear fission, nuclear fusion. That's really small, very little can give you so much. तो जितना छोटा होता है आदमी, जितना कंप्रेस होता है, उतना ज्यादा एनर्जी का सोर्स होता है. So don't ever feel shy of being small or being stupid. The stupider you can sound, the more knowledge you can get, right? वो अच्छा है, सभी गुरु बन जाएंगे, बहुत ही अच्छी बात है. और जितना बड़ा गुरु होगा उसको सीखने के लिए कोई जरिया नहीं है ना. जितना आप सोचोगे कि मैं बड़ी हूँ, मैं मुझे आता है, उतना ही कोई आपको सिखाने नहीं आएगा. A big lesson that you have to learn as you come into this fold of philosophy. You are small, you don't know anything. The more ignorant you can believe you are, the more knowledge will come to you. I'll say that again. The more ignorant you believe, not you pretend, you believe you are, the more knowledge will come to you. So don't worry about it, we'll deal with it. So today I have an exciting class. I'm very excited about it. So first thing, let me put my sleeves up, let's go at it. The first thing that I want to discuss, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of our regular students. I wish they were here. But the first thing that I want to discuss is Vairagyam. Now, this Vairagyam is a very interesting space. We all think, what do we think Vairagyam to be? Vairagyam means where you do not have attachment. Yeah, where you are detached. Correct? Vitaraga Vairagyam. Wherever Rag finishes, that is Vairagyam. Rag is what? Rag we discussed. Rag is attachment, pleasure. No, even we discussed it extensively in the Geeta class only, where we talked about Gaane wala Rag. Usse bhi kya hai? Attachment, sensory pleasure, Rag. Emotional pleasure, sensory pleasure, attachment, that is all Rag. Anything that gives me temporary pleasure is Rag. So Vitaraga Vairagyam, राग जिससे जहां हट जाए, जहां पर ये अटैचमेंट खत्म हो जाए, उसको हम वैराग्यम बोलते हैं, वैराग्य. And why are we discussing this? For Manu's benefit, we are discussing this because we were talking about the characteristics of a student. And in the characteristics of a student, why were we talking about the characteristics of a student? Because Ascharyavat Shloka had this whole student, amazing student, amazing teacher. Yeah. जिसने देखा, उसने कैसे देखा? आश्चर्य. किसने देखा? गुरु ने देखा. और जिसने सुना, उसने कैसे सुन के बिलीव कर लिया? आश्चर्य. किसने सुना? शिष्य ने सुना, है ना? Student heard. So आश्चर्यवत श्लोक हम जब कर रहे थे, तो student and teacher became very, and then there are some people who listen but they cannot understand. There is no surprise in that also. That is fine. So the main, and I discussed extensively in one of the classes that yes, teacher is important, but teacher is not as important as the student, because the readiness of the student brings the teacher in. And then we talked about what makes the student ready. And in that we were talking about fourfold path, fourfold characteristics that will make the student ready. One of those characteristics is Vairagyam. Yeah, that the student should be in the state of Vairagyam. So this is where we are. That is how it connects to the original shloka of Ashcharyavat. And we are talking about characteristics of a student. And in characteristics of a student, we are talking about Vairagyam as being main. And I want you to understand that you are students who may believe that you are not in Vairagyam. Then are you students or are you not students? Is the teacher presenting themselves or are they not presenting themselves? Are you really learning about the Atma and its wonder, or are you not learning about it? So I want to clarify that. Because if you start questioning whether you're the right student or not, then we have a problem, right? People will stop listening to this class and dropping away from this class, and then we'll have a problem. So so we're going to discuss Vairagyam, and you will understand how each one of you are in Vairagyam, because it is not a final stage of, Vairagyam. When we say Vairagyam, we think of a person who's gone to the forest, who's not attached to anything, who's given up food and all good things in life, right? Right? When we think Vairagyam, kisko hai? That is our understanding of वैराग्य. वीतराग वैराग्य, जिसको जिंदगी में मजा आना ही बंद हो गया हो. और कुछ लोग जो जिंदगी में बहुत मजे लेते हैं, उनका बड़ा क्वेश्चन है तो जीने का फायदा क्या है? Then why should we live? Like, what's the point? Like, यही है क्या life, right? So even those people who are taking pleasure in life can be in Vairagyam, because Vairagyam is a 4-stage process. And we're going to discuss those 4 stages briefly, because hopefully Lord Krishna will talk about Vairagyam again and we can come back to it. But I just want to make sure that you guys understand how all of us are students, and all of us are deserving students, and all of us are in Vairagyam. So Vairagyam has 4 stages. You want to write it down. Yatmana, Vyatireka, Ek Indriya, and Vashikara. These are the 4 stages. Yatmana, Vyatireka, Ek Indriya, and Vashikara. Yeah? You got it? Yeah? Manu, you got it? Repeat it.
Yatmana, Yati Rekha, Ek Indriya, Vashikara.
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 So these are 4 stages of Vairagya. Yatmana Vairagya. Yatmana Vairagya is also Vairagya. When you are in Yatmana, you are also in Vairagya. When you are in Yatikara also, you are in Vairagya. It's not a fully expressed state, but you are working. It's a stage. You are still in Vairagya. When you are in Ekindriya also, you are in Vairagya. So it's called Yatmana Vairagya, Yatikara Vairagya, Ekindriya Vairagya. and Vashikara Vairagya. Vashikara Vairagya is the ultimate expression, is the image that we have in our head. The image that we have, what is Vairagya? That is Vashikara, that's stage 4. Everything, you are detached from everything, nothing affects you. Somebody dies also, you'll be fine. Somebody is born also, you're the same. Like it's a state where you are in complete control and nothing in the world is affecting your inner being. You have an amputation also, you'll be fine. Vairagya. So we are in Vairagya from stage 1. It is not that we start getting in Vairagya only stage 4. We are in Vairagya stage 1. So first stage is
Yatmana.
Yatmana. Yatmana is a very beautiful stage. In this stage, because of either your experiences or because of, we us talking in classes, or because of the association of a guru, because of your spiritual practices, because of your experiences in life, when you are able to understand that all suffering that you experience is indeed emitting or starting from the starting point of all suffering is inside you. When you know that everybody can be sad, right? Pulkit is sad because he doesn't have his parents around, especially his mother. Very sad. But where is that suffering coming from? Is it because of the distance? Is it external? The suffering is coming from inside. It's in my head. It's in my mind. If I switch my mind, so Pulkit knows that if he switches his mind, just thinking, instead of thinking he misses his mother, I'll see my mother in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, the suffering stops. Yes or no? The suffering stops. So anybody who understands that the source of suffering, the root of suffering, the starting point of suffering is inside me, is in Vairagya. That is called Yatmana Vairagya, where you understand that it is your insides, your man, which is creating the suffering. And no, all of us are there, right? Raise your hands if you're not there. You're not there? Trick question. Okay. Raise your hands if you're there. Everybody here knows that you are able to feel it, right? Because we are doing. If you're in Geeta class and you've even studied with me for 10 classes, you know you are already in Vairagya. Not because I am important, the subject is such. It'll put you in Vairagya like this. The subject is such. You know all your suffering is where? In your head. If you can be crying also. Nobody stops you from crying. You can be crying, you can be frustrated, you can be expressing it, you can be talking about it, but you know it is you. Intimately, you know it is you. If you are in that stage, then you are in Vairagya already. So this is the first stage of Vairagya, Yatmana Vairagya. When the individual, because of their life experience, sometimes you have very hard life experiences. Some people who lose a lot of people around them, and they are faced with death a lot. And very quickly, there is nobody to blame. Yeah, That's a problem in life. There's nobody, mostly, like I will say, all my problems, I can, for as long as I have my mother, it's her fault. She's there. Every single problem that I have in my life is my mother's fault. But if mom is not there, then very quickly you realize it's nobody's fault. It's freaking you, man. It's you. It's you in your headspace. So for some people, they get there very quickly because of hard life circumstances. For other people, they may get there because they have exposure to philosophy, exposure to a guru, exposure to Bhagwat Gita, like, exposure to yoga, or any such space where you come to understand hardships, great hardships, like extreme poverty, extreme hunger, where you are playing with your mind. Hunger kahan hai? Hunger also doesn't reside in your stomach. It is bloody in your head. Even the physical state of hunger is not in your tummy. It is in your head. After 4 days, it goes to your stomach. How many people wait for that? Nobody. You're hungry from your head. You're thirsty from your head. Any desire, everything is from your head. So anybody who understand, अगर कोई उपवास कर रहा है, या somebody is in hardship, doesn't have food or doesn't have money, extreme poverty, like I said, so already you know how to control your mind. You know where the desire comes from because you're controlling it, you're managing it. So extreme circumstances, extreme death, extreme hardship in life, or the satsang, or guru, or practices, all of these will lead you to this stage of Vairagya. And about 99% people on this class will be in this stage of Vairagya. 99. कोई एक सोचेगा जिसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है अपना कंस्ट्रक्ट, शायद ये सोच लेगा कि मैं नहीं हूं, मगर 99% people will also be aware that they are in this stage of Vairagya. Correct? Yes? Everybody here knows that the source of their suffering is their own mind and head. No other place. चाहे आगे वाला कितना भी अनरीजनेबल है, सामने वाले ने थप्पड़ भी मार दिया है, सफरिंग हमें अपने दिमाग से ही हो रही है. क्योंकि थप्पड़ तो छोटा बच्चा भी मार सकता है और काफी तेज लगता है छोटे बच्चे का हाथ. पर सफरिंग किससे हो रही है? हमारे ही दिमाग से हो रही है. Yeah. So if somebody is aware of this, they are called in Vairagya. They are not in Bhog, they are in Vairagya. When they know their suffering comes from their own mind. Everybody clear? What is Yatmana? Yatmana Vairagya. Yatmana Vairagya is when you are aware that your source of suffering is your own mind. Then already you're on the first stage of Vairagya. Second stage of Vairagya is, what is it? What is it called?
Yatireka.
Vyatireka. Vyatireka Vairagya. This is also a very interesting one. Vyatireka Vairagya is beautiful. It is considered active or working when you're aware of what you can and what you can't. what you can control and what you can't control. What you are detached from, what you're not detached from. What you will be able to manage, what you will not be able to manage. Rajshri has come to understand now she can manage her parents. Sister is still an oddball. When she comes, everything goes for a toss. Now, when she's not there, she can manage. So, just understanding. कोई बोल सकता है कि इस चीज में discipline है, इस चीज में discipline नहीं है. You have different ways of expressing. I can control myself with food, but with chart, I cannot control myself. I can control myself with savory things, but if you take me to a dessert shop, I'll lose it. Right? Just understanding this. It's not about controlling it. Just knowing where you have control and where you don't have control. Is a step further from knowing all suffering is coming from your mind. You've gone a step further. Now you know in these areas I do not have suffering because I have my mind in control. And in these areas I have suffering because I don't have my mind in control. Correct? Does that make sense? Anybody experience this? Yeah? No? Yeah, raise your hand so I can see. Not sure? Rajshri, not sure? Sure. So this is the second stage of Vairagya. And this also, I think, 80% of the people here would know. This is where it works. This is where it doesn't work. Knowing where you can go and where you can't go. What you can handle and what you can't handle. What you will be able to deal with, what you will not be able to deal with. I can push my wife for as long as she doesn't cry. When she cries, oddball. Now I can't handle it. Right? So it's like where are the limits? You're very aware that I can go this far and no further. Where are my limits? This is a great stage of Vairagya. This is also called Vairagya because I am not only aware of my source of suffering, in that source of suffering also I'm aware of the subjects that will give me suffering, areas that will give me suffering. How far do I have to go to experience suffering? Yeah. If I steer clear, I will be in Vairagya, right? That's why the second stage. Because if I steer clear of these, the ones that are giving me suffering, I'm good. If Pulkit doesn't think about his mother, all is fine. He's happy. He just needs to focus on all other relationships that he has with him. Right? Does that make sense? And that's what you do. That's how you manage yourself. That's how a lot of people will manage themselves. Like you'll stay away from the ice cream shop because ice cream I cannot handle, right? You'll stay away from desserts because you kind of can't handle them. So a lot of us work like that. This relationship, I'll not go there. I'll not meet this cousin. I'll not meet this aunt because, they rile me up funny. If they start speaking, there is like, it agitates. So a lot of us manage it like that. How do we keep our peace of mind? We keep our peace of mind by not going in these places which make us act or react. We only go to places where we can act properly. Make sense? Does that make sense? Can anybody give a personal example?
Like Didi, for me, about giving up food or sweets, if I do it as a religious practice, as a fast, I can do it easily. But I know that if I try to give up anything otherwise, like if I just say that, okay, for a week, I'm not going to eat this, I don't think I'll survive the week. But if I say I'm going to not eat this for a week because I'm fasting for, say, Shivji or for any uh, particular fast, then I'll be able to do. So, like, this is one of the things that comes to my head.
That's amazing. Like, you know how your mind works. So you're like tripping it. You're literally tripping it. You're saying, okay, this is how I can come around and work around this problem. Excellent. Anybody else want to share an example? Your personal example? Yes, Bijuri.
So for example, in terms of like people, I know like I've just not realized that one of my friends is not really good for me, or they don't really think that well of me. So I've stopped, like I've distanced myself from them, which I wouldn't have done before. But now, just to maintain my peace of mind or to avoid any conflict, or for me, I realized I would act differently around her. So I've distanced myself from her. So I don't know if that also does that also count, like moving away
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anybody who's met my husband will not go anywhere near any food that he does not know. If he does not know it, he will not put it in his mouth. Right? But it's great because that's also Vairagya. Because there is absolute clarity of what you like and what you don't like, and what is going to create dissonance for you. So change is very hard. Change leads to suffering. So it's a good thing. That's also Vairagya. Anybody else with another example? Yeah, beta.
I can't live without tea. I need morning tea. Because of this diet and exercise, I've stopped taking evening tea, but I tried to leave the morning tea, but it doesn't work. You end up drinking 2 more cups. So yeah, I cannot live without morning tea, but I can live with other things, without other things. But yeah, morning tea is must.
Excellent. So that's a great example. But knowing that, if you know that, if you never went on a diet, you would not know which tea is really important. Right? Knowing that puts you in the state of Vairagya. Excellent. Anybody else with another example? Thoughts? Yes.
I think if I talk about food, like a year back, I knew that I had such strong desire for coffee. I think 2 years back, if I had if somebody would offer me coffee, I wouldn't be able to say a no. But now I know that even if it is there, not there, I know I'm satiated. It's not that strong desire for me anymore. But like I say, for mangoes, I still have. If it is around me, I will still want to eat, even though I'm full. Like I won't be hungry, but if mango is there, I would know that I would want to have it. But if it is not there, fine, it is out of my mind. It is out of sight, out of mind. So yes, I know that I have liking for this and when I can control and not control.
Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Yes.
Didi, Abhi, for the past 1 month, my sister was here in town. And of course, I got a lot of calls from the family to come and meet her. But I just didn't want to go that side. And what stayed with me is what you told long time back in the class, that we have to do a cord cutting and cord cleaning. So I just kept telling myself the same thing, that I have to cut my cords. I just didn't go to meet her.
Right.
And I don't repent it, and I don't feel bad about it.
Right, but you're talking about it. So it does play on your mind, but you have to constantly tell yourself that it's okay.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Because it's a physical relationship, right? Like you're joined by blood. So you have to constantly tell yourself it's okay. Like it's not only that, it's like losing your parents. You have to constantly tell yourself you're okay without them. So it's a physical thing. You are joined at such a deep physical level that it's okay. You're not feeling bad, but you still have to constantly work on it. A good one. That's a good one. Good. So you guys get it. What is this called? Which Vairagya is this?
Yati Rekha.
Yatireka.
याद करना है. Yatireka Vairagya, when we know right from wrong, when we know good from bad, when we know what we can, what we can't handle. You may not still be able to handle it. That's not the point. जो चीज नहीं संभली जा रही, जो चीज नहीं हो रही, जिस चीज में गुस्सा आ रहा है, जिस चीज में रोना आ रहा है, जो चीज हमें सफरिंग दे रही है, जो दे रही, उसको रोकने की जरूरत नहीं है. वैराग्य फिर भी है, for as long as you know. Because Vairagya is in the head. It is nowhere else. For as long as you know, it is still called Vairagya.
Sorry, Didi. So Vyati Rekha, literally, what does it mean in terms of Sanskrit?
Yati Rekha means distinction. To be able to distinguish.
Distinguish. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Good. Everybody got this? This is also Vairagya. So first Vairagya क्या है? पहला वैराग्य क्या है? पहला वैराग्य
Yatmana.
Yatmana. Yatmana is when you know the source of suffering is inside you, not outside. The source of suffering is inside you. If you're feeling bad, you may continue to cry, but you know you're crying because of you. Because you're not able to move your crying. Got nothing to do with the external world. That is the first Vairagya, first stage of Vairagya. The moment you have that understanding, you already started your journey with Vairagya, you are in Vairagya. Second stage is when you start also understanding this is good, this not so good. This I have to work on, this not so much. Right? This I am clear about. Like Manu, when he comes to meet me, we can talk about all things except politics. He will steer clear of it, I will steer clear of it. We know we cannot go into politics. Because the moment we go into politics, it will become crazy. We will fight. So we both steer very beautifully. We both steer. We can talk about everything. We will not talk politics. But knowing that is Vairagya. Knowing how far you can push somebody's buttons. Vairagya. What will be acceptable? What will be unacceptable? Where will you just find a reaction which is crazy? So all of this, and you may have little clarity about it. As you continue to live and work on yourself, you start having more. The moment you start from the first stage, which was, what was the name?
Yatmana.
फिर किताब देखनी पड़ी, अगली बार देखनी नहीं पड़नी चाहिए.
Yatmana. I didn't see the book. Sorry.
Yatmana. Yatmana Vairagya, jahan se whenever you start bringing in the awareness that you are the center of your universe, everything happens because of you. You are the source of your suffering. That's when Vairagya starts. When that happens, as your mind understands this, your mind starts to move towards the second stage. It's logical. I am the source of suffering. So where am I suffering? In this I'm suffering, in this I'm not suffering. Yeah, It's a logical sequence. So वैराग्य की जर्नी आपकी स्टार्ट हुई यत्मना से, और सेकंड स्टेज क्या है?
यति रेखा.
Yati Rekha.
वेरी गुड. डोंट लुक एट द बुक्स. यति रेखा तक अपने आप नेचुरल प्रोग्रेशन है. यति रेखा वैराग्य is also natural progression from yatmana. Got it? Everybody understands? Yeah. Then we have ek indriya vairagya. Ek indriya vairagya. For those of you who joined late, ek indriya vairagya. Yatmana, first stage of vairagya. Second stage of vairagya,
Yati Rekha.
Yati Rekha.
yati rekha. Third stage of vairagya,
Ek
indriya.
Ekendriya.
Indriya.
Fourth stage I explained. Fourth stage is
Vashikara. Vashikara.
Vashikara. Vashikara means I am in control of myself. I am in control of myself. Vashikara. Yeah. So I don't need to explain stage 4. Everybody understands that and is an enviable stage, and nobody is there. 100% of the people are not there. 99% of the people are there in stage 1. 80% people are there in stage 2. And in this class, about 70% people are already in stage 3. What is the stage 3? Ekindriya. Ekindriya is when you start working on yourself. Now you're actively controlling your senses. I will not scream. 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 You're controlling. You know you have a tendency to, give it off, and you're controlling. And it may last for a certain time, and then your vasanas will come back and you will scream because it's not natural. I will not eat dessert like Shalini. How long can Shalini stay away from sweet? Not very long. But she tries. Every now and then she'll put some rule, she will try. So everybody has this whole stage of experiment. I think over here, most people have it. Everybody's trying something or the other. Maybe no food, maybe in yoga practice, maybe somebody's trying to follow a diet and it's not working really. Is it working? It doesn't work 100%, but the fact that you are trying and actively controlling yourself, actively saying, okay, I'm going to do one Sahasranam every day. And then it happens for 15 days, 20 days, and then it stops. That's also natural. And you start over again, and then you do, it's a repetitive, crazy cycle where you're trying to control your actions and your being, and it works, and then it doesn't work. Then it works, then it doesn't work, then it works. Because it doesn't work doesn't mean you're not in Vairagya. You are in Vairagya. Yeah, Monica tries her best to be happy, and then it doesn't work.
Also, like you mentioned, I try very hard to not react sometimes. And Shalini is aware. So I really try
They're
to.
all aware. On this class, everybody's aware.
So yeah, you're right. But the good part is, Shrinka, that it was like a 10-90 fight. It's almost becoming 40-60 now.
Listen, I'm saying you're already in Vairagya. The moment you understand this is your trigger,
That
so
I
you're
agree.
already in stage 2, and then you also put yourself on check.
Correct.
When you put yourself on check, you are in stage 3. And it may
So-
not always, you may not succeed.
Like
But
I said,
that-
from 10-90, it's become 40-60.
Yeah,
I'm not saying 50-50, whilst I may like to boast, but I'm being a little mindful of, because people know me here, and you rightly said, but I do feel that difference. And people around me have started expressing it. And that's when I realized that there has been a difference.
Natural progression, Monica, natural progression towards where. Why? Because one of the great characteristics or big characteristics of this stage is that you will feel guilty after that. You can have sweets, but
Bang on.
you will feel guilty after that. You can
I always
on
have a
the hard
tendency of venting, expressing, because I cannot control my immediate reaction. Who knows it better than you? But having said that, the minute whilst even now it's become, whilst even I'm expressing, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So yeah.
You're sad about it. You can miss your sahasra. You can miss your practice. You can miss doing your whatever restraint that you're trying to implement. But you will have great understanding of it. You will have remorse around it. You will beat yourself up about it. Yeah, and that will make the change.
Correct.
That will make the change. That will continue to push you to the next level and the next level and the next level.
So beautifully expressed. So beautifully expressed.
Yes, Didi, like sometimes in the morning when I'm very lazy to get up, this is what I tell myself, that then it's better than regretting it later. So get up and sit down to chant before then later, otherwise you'll regret that you didn't get up and you'll keep thinking about it the whole day.
And you may miss it. See, one day you may be lazy and you may not do it. What's the big deal? That doesn't mean you're not in Vairagya that day. You're still in Vairagya. There are so many things, and you come so far. There are so many things that you're able to do that you couldn't do before. You have Vashikara in so many areas, right? When a child looks at you, like Pulkit will look at you and say, how does that happen? How can you do this? Right? Because how can you do this? It happens over a period of time of beating ourselves. We can beat ourselves into shape. It's fine. It happens. It's many years of self-beating. And that beating starts in the third stage. Ek indriya says you start controlling it, you start beating yourself, you start punishing yourself, you start regretting it, you start, feeling sad that you couldn't see it through. That beating starts.
But you need an external reminder also, I feel, like being on the class and being reminded also constantly.
Yeah. There is no denying that there is a role of, constant role of philosophy and satsang and guru that will help you stay on the path, because it's very easy to become comfortable. It's very hard to stay in attention. And anything that can keep you in attention, like, Rajshri was saying, alambana. That alambana is very important. What will keep you in attention? You seek it. You seek it and you marry it. Tie yourself up. Make sure you go there every day.
Like once you had told me that like we generate positive sound vibrations when we chant. So when we get angry, then we generate the same kind of negative vibrations. So every time I'm getting angry, that's what I remind myself. So it kind of like reduces the number of times. And of course, the karma philosophy now that we're learning. So that's another one.
Any questions?
So from stage 3 to 4 is probably the toughest leap, right?
You're in Vairagya already. There is no toughness in this. It is just a question of working out our vasanas.
Yeah, but even like Shalini said, at stage 3, we are aware, we are making that mistake. We try to reduce the impact or the intensity of what we are doing. But having said that, we somehow are unable to snap out of it completely. Which is why, so if you,
It's never a snap out of it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
it's always a process.
It's always a process. It'll be a while. Like you start doing Lalita Sesnam, did you know you're going to learn it? Could you imagine you will learn it?
Never.
But you have learned it.
Yeah.
Every single person here who's learned it has learned it. Even Rajshri's learned it.
It just happens inadvertently without your even knowing it. That's the beauty of it.
Practice of anything makes perfect.
Yeah.
And you are practicing. When you continue to stay again, like Shalini said, Guru is important. Guru is important. If you stay, then slowly you will change. If you move, you will stop changing. Because then you are your boss. You should never be your boss. If you are your boss, you will stop changing.
Because then you settle for what is comfortable eventually.
Then you stop beating yourself up. No, there is no benchmark only. You are your own benchmark. I am perfect.
Fair. Fair.
You have to have, maybe you don't have to have a guru, but you have to be a student. Now, guru ho na ho, you must be a student. If you are a student, if you are an eternal student, you will change, transform, and learn. And therefore, we are discussing the characteristics of a student. Those are important. That's worth pursuing. If you are a student, you will learn. If you are a student, you will transform. Make sense? Any other question?
Is it possible to overcome your vasana?
Yes, it takes a while, but you can.
It's taking more than a while.
You've just started. Depends on how deep-seated the vasana is. Like, Manvi was talking about. When it is your blood relations, how hard will it be? It will take an entire lifetime. How long will it take her? Ye pura body jayega. In this body, she cannot come out of that vasana. She will always have to tell herself it's okay. Can she stop missing her parents? No, never. When she lost them so many years ago, decades ago. Has she stopped missing? No. ये lifetime जाएगा. उसको ठीक करने का कोई तरीका नहीं. So some vasanas are for life. Some vasanas you can shift. Some vasanas you can overcome. Can Sonal get away from me this lifetime? Ye lifetime gaya. If she wants to overcome this vasana, she'll have to come back again. So some vasanas are there. You're meant to be in that space. with those limitations. जैसे अब शालिनी, how will she get away from her husband? She cannot get away from her husband. Oh, Vasana, nothing you can do about it. You're married to it, you're born to it, you're destined for it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Those vasanas will stay. But then little things like, leaving whiskey, you can do it. It's possible. You didn't tell me how was your alcohol session. Was it good?
It was my first and last time.
Good.
Horrible.
Horrible.
It's just like show off.
Good. It is just a show off. That is true. It's for weak people. And for egotistical people. True. So you don't have that vasana. Easy. No, it's okay. So Deepa's asking, so does it mean for as long as we are born, we will not be without vasana? We can be. There are people, that's why sannyas is the highest form of practice. जो आपने संन्यास ले लिया और अगर संन्यास नहीं भी लिया तो भी आप उससे हट सकते हैं. Definitely it's possible. It takes a different level of commitment to doing it. It's possible. So
I would like to, I'm very intrigued by this last statement that you made.
What?
That despite being in this world, you are able to disconnect. You are able to get out of the vast.
Depends on the alambana.
Fair.
Depends on the alambana. अगर कृष्ण ही सब कुछ है या राम ही सब कुछ है तो ये नीचे ये माँ बाप भाई बहन क्या करना है. सभी रिलेशनशिप्स वहां पर हैं या गुरु में है तो आपको और किसी चीज की जरूरत नहीं है.
But okay, like you said, you're born into a particular setup, you have a certain social entity to sort of, survive, let's say, to be a
You don't need
social.
society to survive.
Fair. I agree with you wholeheartedly, because it's interesting you mention it, because I'm actually outgrowing most of my friends.
It's coming too late.
No, it's like it happened, but I'm like probably snapping out of it now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
It had happened. The realization had occurred a while ago, but sometimes you're not ready to deal with reality. So one is like playing hide and seek. Okay, let's still pretend we are in that zone. So that was happening. That pretends continued, that hide and seek. And now I'm like, I don't care. It's like they're there, they're not there. It doesn't.
You are still in. You've not taken sannyas.
No, I don't want to. So when okay, the classic
Let's
example.
not go there. I don't want to be. कोई भी चीज इतनी vehemently नहीं बोलनी चाहिए.
Vehemently, I'm just trying to understand. जब गौतम बुद्ध ने भी अपनी family को त्याग दिया, जैसे let's say he was married, he had a child, he had whatever, and then he did realize that that is not where his life was, and he needed to move on and attain nirvana or whatever under that tree. And fair, but my point is that within this I only know one Gautam Buddha. I'm just trying to understand that how is it that within this material world, where we are born with these vasanas, where it is tougher than said, maybe I'm not expressing myself correctly, pardon me, but I keep on trying to, it's always a dichotomy, whether as a father, as a husband, what that act led to, that discontent and the grief that it caused to the relationship.
Again, I'm saying your alambana has to be really strong. There are people who leave their houses for their teachers. You remember वो गौतम बुद्ध तुम्हें एक ही पता था, पर विनोद खन्ना तो पता है ना अपने टाइम का.
वो show, yeah,
वो छोड़ के चला गया रजनीश के आश्रम में, सब छोड़ गया.
his career, his family, his
He
everything.
left everything.
Correct.
There's not one. There are many people like that.
There.
Not only with Bhagwan Rajneesh, but many other people. And
Totally.
Ramakrishna Paramhans. There's so many.
Oh.
You're mistaken if you think that there was only one.
No, I'm just saying that
Alambana has to be very strong. The pull of whatever it is that you're trying to follow has to be very strong. In another class, we deal with it. One of our classmates, friends, has left the whole family, gone to Vrindavan and settled. The family cannot deal with it. Alambana has to be very strong. Then it will happen.
there.
I'm not saying it will happen to you.
No, I get it. I get it.
And I'm not even saying that's a preferred stage or a state of being. I'm just saying it is possible.
Okay. Pointing.
Yes, Khushbu.
Didi, in one of the Geeta classes, you mentioned that sannyas is right sannyas, if I'm remembering correctly. Right sannyas is not leaving your home and sitting outside. Right sannyas is staying within the system and then being detached. And if you are within the system and if you are detached, then also moksha is possible. So is that correct?
That is correct. ना फ्रेंड्स को छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. फ्रेंड्स की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर आप भाग भी रहे हो किसी चीज से, मिलना बंद कर दिया, बिजूरी ने भी बोला, वैराग्य जरूर है, मगर वो पूरा नहीं है. मिल लो, कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ना चाहिए. Should not affect your blood pressure. Should not affect your conversation. Should not affect what you have to say. That is Vairagya. That is the last stage. You don't have to leave anything. You have to become one with yourself.
So it's about internalizing it rather than externalizing.
That's what Vairagya is. It starts from that. No, what was the first stage?
Yeah.
What was the first stage? Without looking.
I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
Yatamana.
Yatman.
Second stage?
Yatikaran.
Yatikara.
Yatikara.
In Ekindriya.
Yatireka.
And yeah, got it. No, it's so beautiful. I really needed to hear this today. Thank you. I don't know how you get it every time. Whatever I need to hear, you just articulate it.
This was already preset menu for today's class.
Actually, you just come to that class only.
Huh?
Monica. Actually, Monica comes in that class only.
Probably. Probably. See, that's what it is. That's the magic of having a guru like her. That's what it is.
When the student is ready, the teaching will present. I am incidental. So, everybody understood? The 4 stages of Vairagya are, somebody rattle them off.
Yatmana, Yatireka,
Yatireka,
and Vashikara.
Indriya,
Vashikara.
Vashikara.
Yatmana, Vitareka, Ek Indriya, and Vashikara. And you start being in Vairagya from stage 1. It will grow. Natural progression. Natural. So we are all in Vairagya. Yes? Yes? Everybody agrees we are in Vairagya? Yes. We are definitely all in Vairagya. In fact, most of us may also be in the 3rd stage of Vairagya, where we are imposing self-discipline, we are imposing exercising control, we are trying to push our boundaries, we're trying to transform ourselves. So we're almost there. Yeah, just one more stage to go. Yeah, almost.
You were saying that the idea of becoming one with yourself, and that's where you're at Vairagyam. And recently I was just realizing, like, whenever I anchor in something that's outside of me, and like I can see the false nature of that, it's like whether it's people or whether it's an identity, or like, so I see that identification, and then I can like kind of like pull myself, rein myself back to myself. It's something that I wasn't able to do before, but now it's like almost with everything, like I can see it happening, which is a really interesting stage of Vairagyam for me personally.
Yeah, it is natural. Actually, again, I will say the universe is so beautiful that it will take you towards samadhi. Naturally, it will take you towards samadhi. Naturally also, who has parents forever? Nobody. At some point, whatever you root yourself in will be destroyed. You know, people get widowed and divorced, people get lose their parents, people move from places to places, lose their friends, lose their country, lose people. Or agar wo bhi na ho to tum to doctor ho, people lose their appetite, ability to eat, ability to see, ability to hear, like, natural vairagyam, forced. Only because we are doing sadhana, we will become aware of it. It's a mental process, not a physical process. And the more sadhana we do, and the more satsang we do, the more we stay with philosophy, the more we stay with guru, the faster this progression will be faster. So the faster something moves, the more visible it becomes in our lives. Like when we grow old, we don't even recognize we've become old. Our skin is older because it's transformed so slowly. But the faster we move, it's more recognizable. We start to see it. So if you're seeing it, it's a good sign, because it means that you're definitely on the path and you're able to recognize it. Naturally also it will happen. No one will be devoid of samadhi. Everybody will get there. Yeah, it will take a few lifetimes, a few hundred maybe. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts? No, so everybody understands that we are all in Vairagyam and we are all students because we are in Vairagyam. Yes. We are all students because we are in Vairagyam. We are good students because we definitely check the box of Vairagyam. All right. So that's it for the Bhagavad Gita part of it. Now we have some questions that we'll address. I'll start the recording over and then we can address them. You guys are most welcome to stay.